Welcome back. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television. A reminder of our major stories. Kaduna State Government relaxes 24-hour curfew imposed on Kaduna Metropolis following communal clashes. Members of the Islamic Movement of Nigeria hold a march from Nasarawa to Abuja a day after some of its members engage in a deadly clash with soldiers. Former Minister of Works and one of the founding members of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Tony Aneni, dies at age 85. And a 97-year-old woman, two brothers and a couple are among the 11 people killed in a U.S. synagogue attack. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and view our videos on youtube.com/channelsweb. Watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. And besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an Eyewitness feature, so you can use it to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. And you send some pictures in. We have them, beginning with this good news from Owo in Ondo State, showing this road, which our Eyewitness reporter complained about last week. He now reports that the state government is providing a palliative to the poor road infrastructure. He appreciates Channels Television for bringing the plight of motorists on Owo-Abuja Road to the attention of the government. He also appreciates the state government for providing some respite, but wants them to provide a permanent solution. And next is this image from Agbara Ijaniki Road in Lagos State, showing this overloaded vehicle. Our Eyewitness is raising concern over the risk this vehicle poses to other road users, considering the poor state of its infrastructure. He wants the practice discouraged. And our final image is from Warri in Delta State, showing this flooded street, which Eyewitness reporter identifies as Story. He says this road becomes flooded because of the poor drains by residents, and he laments the impact this has had on the residents and wants the government to enforce the construction of drains to check this disaster. Thank you so much for sending in these images, and we do encourage you to keep them coming. Now, 4 years may have gone by, but the memory of how the Ebola virus disease almost broke into Nigeria by a Liberian-American, Patrick Sawyer, still remains fresh in the minds of many. A very significant part of the experience was the role played by Dr. Stella Adadevoh of the First Consultant Hospital in Lagos, who prevented the patient from leaving. Unfortunately, Dr. Adadevoh and 3 other hospital personnel contracted the disease and died. In this next report, our correspondent, Oreoluwa Shonibare, examines how one woman's efforts saved countless lives.
These are faces of some survivors and Red Cross volunteers that came face to face with the dreaded Ebola virus disease. They are considered heroes by the International Committee of the Red Cross. But the label of hero does not stop with those who lived, but those that died so that others could live. A name that readily comes to mind is Dr. Stella Adadevoh, a woman who prevented the disease from spreading in Nigeria. The year was 2014. It all started with this man, Patrick Sawyer, a Liberian-American who arrived in Nigeria on July 20th, 2014. A trip that should never have been made because he had been diagnosed with the disease days before and was placed under surveillance. On arrival at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, he collapsed and was rushed to the First Consultant Hospital. He died 4 days later. What made the case more sensational was the pressure placed on the management of the hospital to release Patrick Sawyer before his death to attend a conference in Calabar. But Dr. Stella Adadevoh stood her ground, refusing to discharge the patient. A move that saved countless lives, but not Dr. Adadevoh and 3 others who attended to the Liberian. Since her death, Stella Adadevoh has been remembered for the valiant act. A movie, 93 Days, recounting the experience, was shot in her honor.
There aren't many things more in the public good than preventing a possible Ebola outbreak.
But beyond the cinema appeal, how much is understood about her exploit?
Oh my God. Is this the best we can do?
Here is a picture. It was reported that the largest outbreak of the dreaded Ebola virus disease was recorded in West Africa from December 2013 to January 2016, with 28,616 cases and 11,310 deaths. If Nigeria, with the largest population in the region, was infected, the result would have been catastrophic. But for Dr. Stella Adadevoh, who sacrificed herself for hundreds of thousands. If none of this ever happened, Dr. Adadevoh would have turned 62 this month of October. One important question was glaring during and after the Ebola crisis in the country. How readily equipped are medical services to tackle an outbreak? Perhaps the realization of the shortcomings in the system hit Dr. Stella Adadevoh, which made her decide to protect the nation. A hero is regarded as someone who has given his or her life to something bigger than oneself. But Dr. Stella Adadevoh showed she was greater than the obstacle, a feat that will always receive the nation's gratitude. Orolu Ashunibare, Channels Television News.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo was a guest of the Akwa Ibom State Governor Udom Emmanuel in Uyo, the state capital, today. Chief Obasanjo later joined the governor to attend a special worship service where he highlighted the importance of good leadership.
You don't change a good thing, that's right. You cherish it, you hold it, you use it. I think one thing that we must understand in this country, we don't know it enough. Leaders don't flock. And when we see a good leader, let us get the best out of him. Yes, man. This is a leader. And let's continue to get the best out of him.
The peace being enjoyed in the Niger Delta region is a direct result of the dialogue mechanism of President Muhammadu Buhari. And this is according to the former governor of Delta State and now APC chieftain, Dr. Emmanuel Uduaghan, who told Channels Television's Ladi Akeredoluwale on our political program Roadmap 2019 that the country was benefiting from increased oil production as well as income.
This government at the federal level laid emphasis on engagement rather than military. Oh, those boys they are misbehaving. Military, go and take care of them. You know, burn houses and all that. But they took the engagement route, and the engagement route was being handled directly by the president himself. You know, a lot of the leaders, traditional rulers, elders, and all that, they were being invited to the villa, have discussions with them, then have some agreements, and they leave. The vice president, who was mandated by the president to go into those areas, did something that had never happened in the region before. He was going from state to state, you know, talking to stakeholders, talking to governors, talking to the government officials, talking to stakeholders, traditional rulers, youths, the leaders. And I can tell you that that went a long way in creating the peaceful atmosphere that we're having there right now.
For the full interview with Dr. Uduaghan, do watch Roadmap 2019 tomorrow. That's Monday, October the 29th at 9 p.m. only on Channels Television. The Kogi state government is hoping to leverage on the gains of the Sustainable Mechanism for Improving Livelihood and Household Empowerment project, SMILE, which has been in operation in the state in the last 5 years. Thousands of orphans and vulnerable children in the state, as well as their caregivers, have benefited from the program. It's an initiative designed to reduce poverty in communities across the country.
The 5-year Sustainable Mechanism for Improving Livelihood and Household Empowerment project, SMILE, was implemented in the Federal Capital Territory, Edo, Nasarawa, Benue and Kogi states to strengthen the technical capacity of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development in all local government areas for an effective response to the needs of orphans and vulnerable children.
Organizations and institutions who were impacted by the SMILE project.
students, civil society organizations, and staff of the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development are gathered at the glass hall of the government house, Lokoja, to bid the management of SMILE farewell.
Almost all of them here present, and I wish to specially recognize them.
For the last 5 years, SMILE has facilitated unconditional cash transfers to the vulnerable in Kogi State, the agricultural value chain, and vocational skills training.
SMILE successfully provided a mix of need-based and age-appropriate services to 49,124 vulnerable children, drawn from about 12,775 households across the 9 local government areas in the states where the program was implemented.
Governor Yahaya Bello, who is represented at the event by the Secretary to the State Government, Dr. Folashade Arike, commends ActionAid Nigeria for its efforts in tackling poverty in the state.
We've heard testimonies of people that benefited. In fact, and I want to say thank you so much to SMILE for assisting and collaborating with the government of the day in bringing smiles indeed to the faces of Kogi State indigene.
Some of the beneficiaries testify on how the SMILE project has positively affected their lives.
When this progress of SMILE come, we enjoy it. Then teach us how to clean our environment. We know it before, but it gives us more knowledge.
Back in the day, I was in the streets just rolling about without doing nothing. I was like coming the ability to the street. But now with the help of SMILE, I've become more important to my community.
And the SMILE program in Kogi State officially ends with a promise from the government to consolidate on the legacy laid.
Residents of some communities in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, facing the threat of erosion, have cried out to the state government to urgently intervene. One of the village heads made the appeal during the monthly sanitation exercise when residents came out with sandbags to plug the gullies in their area to enable them get to their homes.
Major streets in Makurdi, the Benue state capital, almost deserted due to the monthly sanitation exercise, which holds every last Saturday of the month. Behind this calm, however, is the growing cases of gully erosion in Idie and Ayihe communities, where residents have been cut off from freely moving in and out of their homes. The erosion threat is worse on Ango Street, facing the Federal Secretariat Makurdi, where flood water finds its way down, washing off the entire street, which the state government began constructing in 2003.
By the time this road was done, it was not done properly because they put latrate. They done latrate and left. It was our community effort that we used by spraying the latrate with shovel. And since then, nothing has been done. We park our vehicles in other people's houses. So we are pleading with our deputy governor, Dr. Samuel Otom, to come to our aid by repairing the road for us.
The chairman of EDA Landlords Association, while speaking on the self-help erosion control work by the youths, calls for help in the provision of basic amenities to the area.
The community is actually cut off from pipe-borne water. As an urban area, we don't have access to good pipe-borne water, and we are still using this means to also make an appeal to government to help in that area also.
Channels Television also visits Ayihe, another growing community in Makurdi, to investigate the socio-economic challenges of the people, who appealed to Governor Otom to construct the road leading to Ayihe.
There's light, but no road. As we are coming, did you see any better road here? Everywhere spoiled. And the water, we are spoiling the water.
Reacting to the appeals, the spokesperson of the government assures of immediate remedy to the erosion challenges.
The governor has directed that the agencies should do more than what they are doing to see that all the blocked drains are opened and the places where there is need for surfacing the roads, the streets that have been washed off, this will be done. And I believe that before the end of the year, the people can rest assured that much will be done in that direction, and the areas that are worst hit.
The rate of gully erosion in Benue State is largely caused by excessive water that have recently overflown the existing canals into residential areas. But the solution is the timely canalization of low-density areas.
When the news at 10 returns, residents in Enugu State seek government intervention to raise its tourist site, including a waterfall and twin caves, to international standard. That's in a moment. Stay with us.